Welcome back to La Houge Yanks. Bienvenue à La Houge Yanks. We're talking Canada soccer and U.S. soccer, and seriously, welcome back. It's been about a week since I last was able to do a video, and apologies for that, but as I said, working with school projects and all kind of work with university, but finally we were able to talk about the game, and of course I wasn't going to miss this one. It's the Battle of La Houge and the Yanks, which unfortunately I wasn't even able to do a preview video on it, because I normally do when both countries play each other, but fortunately, things didn't work out this time, nor did it work out to cover the last 4 games that I missed. I missed the last final games for both teams in the group stage. U.S. playing Mexico. By the way, USA squeaked a narrow margin, 1-0, late goal on that one to keep the rivalry alive over Mexico. 1-0 win for the USA. And in Canada, beating Costa Rica, I believe it was a 2-0. Maybe it was 3, but it was 2. It was 2, I believe. Yep, 2-0. And yeah, I mean, both teams coming out with hard-fought games during the whole entire group. And then on to the semifinals, which USA played Costa Rica and Canada played Jamaica. USA, beat Costa Rica 3-0. Came out and they jumped off to an early start and just held their way. And then for Canada against Jamaica, pretty much the same thing. I mean, Jamaica put up a pretty decent fight, but Canada was just stronger. And here we are to the finals. And so that was a quick recap for the games that I failed to do and couldn't do, which it sucks, and I wanted to do that. And normally, as I said before that, there would be a preview before this game, but because I didn't have time to do that, fortunately, just the post-game wrap-up, I am going to be talking about, since this is also a neutral review, I'm also going to be talking about what both teams, mean for the future. We kind of talked about the past, how both teams kind of got here, which normally is something I would do in a preview, but yada, yada, yada. But, now that we're here, we'll talk about the game. There's only one goal that happened. It was a penalty, but we're going to go through the lineup and the game and what the results mean for both teams moving forward and, looking ahead to maybe September whenever I think the next games are being played. USA will play some friendlies, of course, while Canada will now play maybe their 2 final games against Jamaica to book their final ticket, as yes, the USA did qualify as they won 1-0, but Canada is not out, and they can still qualify, but they have to play Jamaica, I believe, on a home and away leg, as Jamaica was the 3rd place finisher in this year's CONCACAF Special Edition tournament as a double qualifier. Now, keep in mind, I should mention that both teams already qualified for the 2023 World Cup next year in Australia and New Zealand. As the USA qualified by way of beating undefeated based to the group. I mean, the Mexico game didn't matter as they already got qualified. As for Mexico, this is interesting too. A little side note: as Mexico, I mean, they've lost all 3, and this is the first time that they didn't score a goal that I can remember in their own tournament. And yeah, they hosted it, and this is rare for Mexico. I know they'll bounce back, but first the USA. First Mexico played Jamaica. Jamaica won by an early own goal in the 8th minute, and then the second game was against Haiti, which Haiti just broke Mexico all over 3-0, I believe, maybe even more than that. I can't remember, but it was a pretty darn good game for Haiti. Let's just say it that way. And then for the U.S., I mean, they just beat Mexico, as I said, with a late 88th-minute winner. And Mexico didn't score a goal that entire tournament. And it's tough for Mexico, but it is what it is. And they're going to have to come back. I mean, they'll probably come back stronger and better the next cycle. So we'll see. And then for Canada qualifying for their World Cup next year in Australia and New Zealand, of course, by making quick work of Trinidad and Tobago. Of course, Trinidad and Tobago put up a decent fight, as I said, in the first half. It was only 1-0, and then Canada just broke the door open. It was 6-0, the final score. And then the next game for Canada was, I believe it wasn't Costa Rica, but it was, I'm drawing a blank. It wasn't Costa Rica. Costa Rica, they played the last game, and they won. But the last game, I believe the other game was, I don't know, I'm drawing a blank, and it sucks. But it'll come to mind. I believe it was, no, I'm not going to try and guess, but yeah, I mean, Canada, whoever they played the second game, won as well. And Panama. It was Panama. Yeah, Canada played Panama. It was, once again, 1-0. That was a slow victory for Canada, but nonetheless they made work of it and they did what they need to do. And of course, that game qualified them. And of course, with Costa Rica beating them, that also qualified them. So both teams already before this did get the big tournament, the big dance. They are going to the expanded edition of the Women's World Cup, I should say, from 24 teams to 32 teams, which I did not know that it was less teams than the men. I'm curious to see why it's not 64 teams, but then again, maybe not every country has a solid women's program or a solid women's national team program, which we got to work on that. And I can't wait to see that when they get the 64 number of teams. Of course, the men are expanding again in 2026 for the World Cup format. There's going to be more teams, but nonetheless, for this one, it is 32 for the women. That's going to happen. But hey, more teams, more opportunities for countries, and this should be fascinating. But both Canada and the USA are in, which is what matters. And then to this game, the all-important match. This is where we are now. We're finally going to talk about the game after about 6 minutes of catching up and kind of backgrounding, explaining the do. And in this one, as I said, the USA did squeak by. Both teams had their chances, but Alex Morgan on a penalty kick, and she did it in the 77th minute, and that's the game winner. And nonetheless, USA with that win are the queens of CONCACAF, and with that, they also booked their Olympic ticket to the 2024 Paris Games. And for Canada, as I said, it's not over. Canada can still qualify, but they have to beat Jamaica, the third place finisher, and they have to play a home and away leg, which I'm guessing will be done in September or whenever the next women's window friendly or competition FIFA is for qualification games or any competition. That'll be done. That'll probably take place then in September, which by then Canada should qualify. I mean, then again, we're not going to rule Jamaica out, but I think Canada can bounce back against Jamaica, which is why I think they'll still be able to book their spot in the 2024 Olympics. So it's not over. Their defense is not over yet. It's just they got to take a detour. And we've seen many detours. We've seen the Canadian men's team do a detour with the World Cup qualification, with this year, obviously. We saw them, remember, how they failed to beat, I believe they failed to get out of the group for their Nations League in 2020, I believe 2019. And because of that, they had to take a detour and had to go through all different stages of qualifying. But hey, nonetheless, look where they finished. Top of the group, and they're going to Qatar. So, we've seen detours, but nonetheless detours. I mean, a lot of people say they don't want to take a detour, but hey, sometimes a detour can also be a blessing in disguise or kind of a gift in nothing, right? For Canada, these next two games against Jamaica, rather than scheduling friendlies, hey, you'll get to work on, you'll be heavy competition games. You'll get to see you stack off. Hey, Jamaica will probably play a low block. They'll probably be also attacking too, as they'll be able to. It's a double leg game, but nonetheless, Canada will play two quality matchup games in preparation for should they qualify for the Olympics. And just keep in mind World Cup preparation now, I should say. So it's not over, and Canada can still muster together a couple games, and we'll see how they fare well against that. But nonetheless, let's go to our starting lineups. We'll go through both starting lineups. This is U.S. and Canada, but we'll start with the USA as we have Alyssa Nair in net, Lana Cook, Becky Sauerbrunn, Sofia Huerta, Mallory Pugh, Lindsay Horan, Sophia Smith, Alex Morgan, who scored the game-winning penalty, Rose Lavelle, Andy Sullivan, and Emily Fox. And then on to your Canadian starting lineup, we have Christine Sinclair, the lady, the legend herself. Sheridan, who had glue, she was a glue girl in this game. And my oh my, she kept saving chance after chance for Canada. She really came up big and really kept Canada in the game. It could have been worse should Sheridan not have stepped up, because there was a couple chances where she just snagged them out of midair or just stuck to her like glue. Anybody, like with her legs, hands. She was a glue girl in this game for Canada, and that was great. Then you had Buchanan, you had Quinn, Riviere, Lawrence, Scott, Giz, Prince, Becky and Jessie Fleming. Now, as I said, it was a pretty good game for Canada. The only mistake and only thing that really bit them in the butt was the 77th minute penalty. But in halftime, both chances had their, and throughout the game as well, both chances had their shot, or both sides had their chance to score. USA had a lot of chances to score, but once again, Christine Sheridan with the hands of glue and snagging it, saving it with the legs, deflecting it out. I mean, Sheridan really kept Canada in this game, and she was phenomenal. And yeah, you got to tip your hat to Sheridan. As I said, it could have been a lot worse for Canada, but Sheridan played really well. She gave it all she could, and unfortunately, it didn't shake out right for Canada in this match. But in the 76th minute, there was a USA played a pretty good through ball over the top to the Canadian defense to Roosevelt. Roosevelt was kind of through in this one, but she was brought down in the box. Referee does hesitate before penalty for the U.S. And my major question was, we've seen the USA with their penalty kind of woes. I mean, in the Colombia game, the USA had 2 penalty kicks saved. We saw the Haitian game where the USA had a penalty. They buried that one. And also against Jamaica, I believe they had one too. They buried that one. But this is one that matters the most. A championship match against your bitter rival. And there's a spot on the line, lots on the line here. Olympics on the line, Queens of CONCACAF on the line. Who's taking this penalty? And it turns out to be Alex Morgan. And the big question I had personally was, will Sheridan continue her glue girl status by saving it or keeping it out? And this time Alex Morgan stepped up to take it, and she kept it on the ground and sends Sheridan the wrong way. And it's a goal for the USA. And it's 1-0 USA, and that is as I said, turns out to be the game-winning goal. No other action would happen besides in the last 10 minutes. Canada would try and throw the kitchen sink at them, with flooding them with lots of chances of their own, but Alyssa Nair did answer the bell, and she came up with a lot of chances, as well as the U.S. defense as a whole. And nonetheless, the USA prevailed, and the USA are your queens of CONCACAF and your winners, and they're going to the Paris 2024 Olympic Games. So pretty much everything you had to say there. It was a good game. Both teams had darn good chances. However, the USA prevailed via a penalty kick and or a mistake in the back by Canada, you could say. You could say penalty, mistake. Either way, that one little moment in the game turned out to be the deciding game, or deciding moment of the match. Then we go to our stats. You can really see it. 17 shots for the USA to 11 for Canada. 6 of the 17 shots for the USA were on target, while 5 of the 11 for Canada were on target. 55% possession to 45% possession, almost 50% possession. 413 passes completed, 348 passes completed. 79% pass accuracy to 74% pass accuracy. 4 fouls to 6 fouls, 1 yellow card apiece, no red cards, 1 offside apiece, and 7 corners to 1 for the USA. As I said, this game was just about darn equal. I mean, other than that one mistake for Canada, and the USA capitalized on it with the penalty kick, and that pretty much was the deciding factor. But nonetheless, I mean, both teams gave it their all. Canada had shots left and right. The USA just came out swinging with, in the first minute, forcing Kaylin Sheridan to make a big save. And then Canada fired back with a couple of chances of their own, with Michelle Prince taking Ashley Sanchez one-on-one and really exploiting that left-hand side. Unfortunately, her chances were right to the keeper, but nonetheless, it is what it is. And Canada will definitely look back at this game and will definitely take some parts to improve and get ready for their Jamaica two-legger, as they'll play a home leg and an away leg. And hey, that home leg, I'm curious to see where they'll play at. Will they play it here in Toronto? Will they play it out in BC? Or will they play it in Ottawa, Montreal? We have to see where they'll play that game. But nonetheless, Canada will play a home leg and then an away leg. I'm assuming the home leg will be played first, as the away leg will be played in Jamaica. Maybe depending on the weather around this time of the year in September. Although they're pretty much going to be played, we have to see how that all shakes out. But nonetheless, Canada, as I said, will have to take a detour, while the USA just got direct qualification to Paris. But for the USA, they've already scheduled a couple friendlies. I believe the USA is playing Nigeria, maybe in a couple friendlies, but I have to double check that. I have to see who the USA plays in the friendlies coming in September or whenever the next window is. But for Canada, they're going to have to play a home and away leg against Jamaica, third place finishers. More practice for Canada, as I believe one of the interviewees said for Canada. They said, yeah, it's not the end of the world. Let's not panic if we're Canada, and let's breathe. Let's look at this game, and let's look at areas where we need to improve and that we can use to the Jamaica game and stake our claim for the Olympics there. So Canada's still not out, as I said. That's the one thing they've got to remember. Take this game. It's going to sting tonight. It's going to sting. It's going to hurt. Yes, you lost to your bitter rivals, so it's going to sting even more. Championship game is going to sting in all kinds of different ways, but tomorrow, if you're Canada, you look at the tape, you look at the game, identify your areas of weaknesses or areas where you need improvement, and then we practice that head on, and then we look forward to the Jamaica two-legged series, home and away, and we take care of business there. We book our ticket to Paris that way. So Canada is still very well in this qualification. So don't rule them out, and obviously they'll be back and they'll qualify as long as if they don't do anything silly or as long as they don't underestimate their opponent Jamaica. So we'll have to see how that is going on, but for Jamaica it is a rematch for the semifinals, and Canada we'll see how things shake out, but it's going to be an alternative way of qualifying. But for the U.S., as I said, it's a direct qualification. They won, and now they're working on their two friendlies. So we'll see what kind of friendlies they play. I believe they've already decided who they're going to play, but I need to double check on that. And preparation for now both World Cup and the Olympics for the USA. And yeah, I'm pretty sure the USA is going to be delighted for the USA. To qualify for the Olympics. This is a revenge game for them after all, as we all know what Canada did to the USA in the 2020 Olympic Games in Japan. This was revenge for that, and the USA, I'm pretty sure, are going to be delighted that they got revenge on their bitter rivals, and nonetheless in a championship match and a qualifying game too. So tough for Canada, but enjoy for the USA. But nonetheless, looking back on this game, both teams have their chances, and both teams just really gave it all they got. It was really fascinating to watch. But one mistake, that's all it took. And then for the USA, one capitalization, and that's all it took. And that's pretty much the story of the match, as I said. For Canada looking ahead, take care of business going into Jamaica, looking at this home and away leg, qualify for the Olympics there. And for the USA, you just keep preparing. I like that. I like the lineup that were played. Alternating between young and old. Remember, they're continuing their transition, if I can say that right, between old and new. A lot of the old veterans are exiting, while the new youngsters are coming in. And this was a key game to get experience again, like Trinity Rodman, Ashley Hatch. We've seen some new names that will become some new stars in these next two tournaments, and yeah, we're going to see how those two players and how the U.S. young talent as a whole will just blossom and continue to just develop into these new tournaments. And let's see how they'll take it. Can they carry the torch? Can they continue the success for the USA for these tournaments? Or will we see a passing of the torch perhaps to Canada? So keep an eye out for that, for Sweden or anywhere else. So with that, yeah, it's pretty much the story of the game for the Who's and the Yanks, neutral preview. I hope you guys like that, and we'll see what both these teams do come these next qualification. We'll keep an eye on Canada, of course, as now we're going to be trying to make sure they qualify for Paris. But for the USA, their preparation begins for both tournaments. So if you like this video, make sure you like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. And yeah, as I said, apologies for not being able to cover the previous games in the group stage and the semifinal matchup, but sometimes work just comes up, and sometimes priorities, you got to get them right. And hopefully this video somewhat made up for it in terms of the talking about the previous kind of what happened and then talking about the future or post what's going to happen and the neutral preview. So I hope this made up for it, as well as it was great to definitely watch these girls play on TV, watch these women play on TV. Great tournament for both teams, and yeah, great video I got to make on that finally. And yeah, if you like this video, as I said, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Also hit the bell notification knowing any videos uploaded or posted, just in case of long hiatuses or pauses like this one. And then tell your friends, the USA women are your queens of CONCACAF this year.